Hi, folks. This is Mountain Man coming to you from parts unknown. I didn't get a chance to do a test broadcast, so I hope I got a good connection. I guess I'll find out when people start hopping in. So, I've got a little meme I'll leave up while people are coming in the chats. I appreciate everybody who's tuned in tonight and everybody who watches after the broadcast. This is a live stream, so if you want to jump ahead and to get out of the filing in process, and then afterwards, and if you want to know when I go live, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be part of the chats or just watch the chats go by live. So anyway, things are percolating along, and we got a weekend coming up. What are they going to throw into the hopper on Friday? They like to drop little, little booms, so people will either be distracted from what's being talked about over the weekend or to create some buzz. And who's going to do the dropping? The goodies or the baddies? I don't know. We shall see. Hi, Nikki. You're the first one in. How you doing? Hi, Bubba. As a close second. Hi, B-Dog. Karen, Kim, Wild West, Sherry, Bubba. So, I want to thank David. He was new to the program last night, and I didn't know he was the one who paid a visit to the Buy Me a Coffee, and I didn't know who he was. So I want to say thank you to him, and also to Gary, who helped out last night. So, love to Garden. How are you doing? Mary, Ingrid. Just wanted to make sure I gave Sherry, gave a mention to my last night's sponsors. So anyway, where do you want to start, folks? I was scanning for anything new, and I know that Mr. T has come out pretty hard on Jack, right? Here's a picture of Jack. Here he is right here. That's Jack. Is he Crackhead Jack or just Jack? Now, a lot of us have seen the other picture, but Mr. T put out truth. He was like, yeah, it might have been Hunter's crack, but what about Jack? Remember Cracker Jack? I had a manager years ago. He's told me you're a real Cracker Jack, young man, a real Cracker Jack. Well, here's how Jack looks now. Let me see if I can overlap that a little better. There's Jack. Does he look like he's getting a little shaky or involved in some kind of illicit drug use like Hunter? I don't know. It looks like he's going through some stress. Now, somebody said last night that Ray EPPS was in France. And I started thinking about that. This is where Jack's from. He's from France, but he's reportedly in, of course, D.C. now, handling these multiple charges against Trump. And they said that he's adding some more. He's being more active in Arizona. So I was going to put Crackhead Jack in my title, but or in my thumbnail, I just decided to put Crack Den at Pennsylvania Avenue. I think everybody will get the point there. Here, I'll put this picture up. I told you I was going to have some memes today. There's Joe doing his laundry. Hi, Marla. Mary, how are you doing? Tennessee. Jamie, Awaken Trillium. Damon, I might have missed some people. I don't know. I'm trying to check back, make sure I didn't. But anyway, so Jack is from France, and I talked about how I thought that was rather suspicious about Hillary going over to France and being caught off balance with that photo shoot of her with her supposedly illegal emails. So I still say Jack, he might be working both sides of the fence. You never know, because he's subpoenaing a lot of people in Arizona. And I also mentioned that he was involved with jailing the president of Kosovo, and that was a situation involving what is now being brought out to the public, organ harvesting. And that was not talked about a lot, but now that it's coming to the fore, you had Rick Grinnell in Arizona with Kari Lake, and then you had Rick Grinnell go to Kosovo and broker a deal to settle things out there as an ambassador just last week. And then you have Jack involved in Arizona and also is involved in the Kosovo mess. So, if there's moves going on, I don't want to talk too much out of school, but I'm just saying there's a lot of stuff that, as I said before, the ships appear to be sailing in the same direction in some instances. Hi, Donna. How are you? Hi, Gloria. Body's money. Let's see. Love to Garden's got some green tomatoes showing up. One looks Russian, one looks German. Oh, was that of Jack? Hi, Wanda. Yes, please hit the subscribe button. Debbie Golden, how are you? So, I'm just checking to see who's coming in. Rubber Toe, how you doing? How you doing, Rubber Toe? And I noticed Dan Cavino, while everybody's filing in, I'll just mention this. He posted this the other day. And, oh, where'd it go? There it is. Anybody who's kept up with the you know what posts, CUE, this was posted a couple of times, several times. This is no words, just this flag, this picture of a flag. And I found that very interesting. I'm sure we'll find out. I tell you what, kids in the future, a history book is going to be a heck of a lot more exciting than what we learned from back in the day. All these memes, this what I consider to be information dissemination operation from our favorite letter. All that stuff is going to be things for kids to read and learn about and smack their heads and roll their eyes when they hear about the dysphoric behaviors and the things that we're struggling with now that back in our day coming up, we never dreamt would be an issue. Hi, Joy. There you are. Do you change your picture? Sometimes we have multiple Debbies and multiple Glorias. Do we have multiple Joys, or is that a new picture? I don't know. But it's a very nice picture. So, and Debbie's got a new picture too. I try to remember some of that stuff. Ha ha. Hi, Sandy. How are you? Christina, how are you? Sharon. Anyway, Dan Scavino put that up. He also put this up. And this was from 2020. It's, taken, with the phone held one way, instead of sideways. But still, it is a shot of Mr. T in Air Force One. See him up there cutting across the ellipse with a crowd down below. That was 4th of July, 2020. And I think he put that up there for us to take heart. You compare what this 4th of July was at the White House, just a cracked out mess compared to what we had in the White House. So give us some memories, give us some gumption to keep on going. Hi, Joy. How are you? Lone Wolf's in the house. Oh, okay. I see that, Joy. Okay. Me, myself, and I. How are you? Oh, your phone's working better. Donna. Donna was having trouble typing. The new device, sometimes you got to get used to them. Well, I tell you what, that I've talked about in the past, F9, and I'll break this word into two parts. Algo is the first, and the second part is rhythm. That's been mentioned in the drops. Well, I believe that's been going to work. The only place I can really get clear audio when I try to grab a clip is from Utizzle, TikTok, Rumble. Very difficult to get audio, if not impossible. And it used to be that you could kind of get audio from Rumble. It was tough on TikTok. But now they have gotten to the point where you can use the microphone, you can double the sound, you can do all kinds of stuff, and you barely get any sound. And I really think that's got a lot to do with DAR, and then the other half is PA. And that's a little more advanced talk, but it's been very frustrating. So I think Rumble has got some infiltration going on, but hopefully they'll defeat that soon. Have you all heard about this Threads thing with creepy Zuckerberg? Well, stay off it because I got a couple of drops I was going to go over. I was so mad because they have made it so difficult to share stuff unless it's Utizzle. And, why should YouTube have all the ease of use, the history memory, the ability to get clips, audio's fine, playing smooth, very little buffering, and everything else you got problems with. But as we know, Utizzle is heavily combed over, and a lot of stuff we want to hear and know gets removed. So what if it's got the best of everything? If you're just hearing the garbage they want you to hear, what good is it? But anyway, you want to stay off this Threads business. I'll put a post up from DJT Jr. here in a little bit. But I promise y'all some memes. I'll put up some memes while I'm jibber jabbering. And I got a bunch of them. Articles and memes. Here we go. Here's one about Joe. Haha, Joe and Fetterman. Hi, Isla. How are you? And let's see. Thread is teaching to think like our post. Oh, AI, yeah. Yeah, I'm not going near it. FB, Facebook, I might as well take a chance and put this post up. For just to brush up people, if I've got it in here, I got to take a chance. I'll put it up in a minute. It's a 17 post. To tell you a little something about Facebook. When you switch your device over, even if you drop off of Facebook, it still tracks you if you signed up for it. So if you get a new device, don't upload everything from the other phone. If you want to get away from that, just start over. Just write down your contact numbers and put new contact numbers in and, just start over. I don't even know if that can get you away from Facebook once you signed up. Hi, Finding Dory. How are you? Vicky said, blessings from Texas. Thank you. So let me see. Here's another one I can put up. I got to get some of these out of here. And trying to do, I'll keep trying, but I'll try to do a multicast from on Rumble at the same time as I go live on Utizzle. But again, that's got its drawbacks and things drag. Anyway, here's health experts and science deniers. There you go. So let me see. Here was a video. I didn't get it. Oh, this is a sad story. But anyway, to show you how people are relying on their phones and how they've given up all their information on Facebook about GPS to get around. She's busy looking at the computer. Miles and take a left. Go 2 blocks and take a right. She's sitting there looking at her stupid phone, fiddling around, and drives right into the ocean. Oh, are you losing sound, Nikki? Good, Bubba. Bubba, Ben and Jerry lost $2 million in 3 days. Good. Where's that shot I took of that the other day, yesterday or day before? Man, that made me mad. Him I never like. That was from. But anyway, yeah, I don't know if I got a shot. If I got it in here, I'll put it up. Where they said we stole. Here it is. Creeps. What kind of idiots? Somebody brought up a good point. If they do things purposefully to damage that company, their shareholders can sue them. Oh, good. I got 5x5 Lone Wolf that goes in and out. Sometimes I get quiet when I'm reading the chats. Or I get a sip of my coffee. Hang on to get a good sip of my coffee. Anyway, or even if they don't do it on purpose, if their behavior is so reckless or stupid that they cost shareholders money, they don't do due diligence, or they should have, maybe they didn't know better, but they should have knew better. Their shareholders can sue their eyeballs out of their head. But here you see what it says. This 4th of July, it's high time we recognize the U.S. exists on stolen indigenous land and commit to returning to it. Learn more and take action now. You know, they can go straight to hell. The United States was founded on stolen indigenous land. This is the 4th of July. Let's commit to returning it and assign this as stolen land. I tell you what, Bud Light and Ben and Jerry's, I hope they disintegrate as brands and nobody touches them again. What a slap in the face. It's going to make me want to put up my... that's what I ought to do, but I don't want to. I don't want them knowing me. I don't want to know them. But I could put up my picture of the Amazons. I'll say here. Well, let me see if I got it in here. If I got the Amazons in here, using a piece of obsidian to remove somebody's heart. Is that what you want to go back to? The temples in the Aztecs had. Is that what you want? You be the first one. I'd send up the steps. I'm going to get me one of these. I'm going to get me one of these and put it in my living room. Dan Screeno put this up too. On the cockpit of Air Force One. There it was. Ha ha. The Trumpinator. I'm going to put it in my living room. When people come by, I don't care for, but they still want to come around and bug me because they like me. They see stuff like that. And if they're liberals, they just won't come back anymore. And I can still be nice. Hey, thanks for stopping by. But put it, no matter where they sit, they're going to be looking at it. That's right, Roy. Let them give up their stuff, give it back. Bunch of fat, stupid hippies, eggheads. That's right. Conservatives are finding out their power. Money does talk, as Mr. T says. Yeah, because that's right. Everybody feels like they got something stolen from them. Well, I won't get into that, but Richard Pryor had a joke about that. He said basically, what are they complaining about? They had rags over their rear ends and they were jumping over buffalo chips before we got here. What are they complaining about? And he got a lot of flack for saying that. He said it with a lot stronger language than I'm saying it. But that's basically the point. Here, Jack Posobiec's reminding us of something. 488 days to the election. Ben and Jerry's $2.5 billion already? Where'd you get them figures, B-Dog? That'd be great. I tell you, there's a lot of good ice cream companies and Turkey Hill. Have you ever heard of that? I like Turkey Hill. And then, Breyers is good. There's plenty of stuff you can go to without going to a bunch of communists, leftist weirdos. And like I've been trying to communicate to my lost associates, friends, don't you want to stop this stuff that's going on with the crazy stuff for kids at school and all that? I mean, why does that stuff go hand in hand? Why do? Well, they'll say, I'm a liberal, but I don't believe in this stuff with changing genders. Well, you're supporting it. Here we go. Here's what a guy, Citizen Free Press put up. This person, Kevin Sorbo. Never heard of him, but his point is good. Why isn't the left promoting Sound of Freedom? Shouldn't everyone be against child trafficking. It's a simple question. That was on Twitter. That's great. 103,000 views. I hope he gets 1 million views. And it's a question I can ask anybody. I hate Trump. Trump is terrible. Trump is a liar. Trump is a crook. Well, first of all, they're repeating lies. They can't mention one crime, one time he lied that's true or real. They're just repeating lies from the news. So what do you want? You want to have a nation where they're doing this to children? Apparently so. If you can't get over whatever your problem is, and don't want to get to the bottom of a lot of things like 911, what happened to JFK, things end in the war. It's real simple. It's stark choices, bold pastels. This isn't gray areas. Here's something I don't know if any of you have seen this. This is alarming. And Texas Lindsay, she said alarming there. Massive increase. Have you all heard of this? In breast cancer. Women under the age of 50. Look out the years 2019, 2020, 2021. Right around 26,000, 27,000, right in there. 2022, it doubled, almost doubled to 47,550. But 2023 went up more than 10 times the 3-year average from 19 to 21. Am I right about that? 26,000, 297,790 in 2023. Based on cases reported so far, an estimated projection, source American Cancer Association. Cancer.org. It's not just, I couldn't believe that. And that's an emergency. So if you can, get a screenshot of that and share it around. Ask Joe about that. He keeps talking about all the good numbers that he dreams up. I didn't know if you all had seen that yet or not. Here you go. But that's a healthcare crisis. Cheryl shows no mercy. I think it's in the water. Alicia said it's chemicals in the water. So I hope Ben & Jerry's did lose $2 billion. That's right, Tennessee. It doesn't look good for humans. You know, if people say, oh, they're crazy, when they say, well, they're trying to lower the population, people think you're talking some kind of crazy stuff. Well, take a look at those numbers. Somebody's doing something. And it ain't good. It ain't helping. That's over 250,000 people. There you go. But you can't get anything through to anybody. So the sound's not going off. I'm just looking through my studio. Now, Mr. T, he's fighting back. He's not quiet. Here he put out deranged Jack Smith purposefully omitted the Presidential Records Act from his sham indictment, even though he knows it is the only law that applies to the subject. Nor does he mention the Clinton Sox case or any of the many other cases that are exactly on point and completely vindicate me. He should be ashamed of himself, but more importantly, he, the DOJ, and the FBI should be sanctioned for prosecutorial misconduct and grand jury abuse, election interference. Now, the gag order that he was under, that's just, I think, the Bragg case, right? Or he didn't get it. Maybe he did on these Jack Smith cases. I don't know. I don't think he had a gag order on the Jack Smith cases because he pretty much said Jack was a crackhead. And he put an official letter. I'll put it on the screen. But he put out the fact that he wrote an official statement that's more detailed. And if y'all haven't, well, let me see if I can straighten that out. If y'all haven't got a shot of it or read it, right here, these official statements are going to be what's going to be in court and future reference, especially if he's playing any active role, like a lot of us think he is, as a designated officer. I'll put it that way. Like some other people that we talked about in the past. You can be an appointed officer in the U.S. military. Yes, indeed. Let me get rid of some of this stuff. Oh, here's proof, too. Here's proof. Now, Ben & Jerry's, Bud Light, Indiana Jones. I was talking last night about giving tickets to Sound of Freedom to a family member or a friend. And, it's not like you're here, what you got with Indiana Jones. You get a free ticket when you spend more than $35 at Applebee's. Here's the proof right here. And they still lost out to Sound of Freedom, even though they're counting this as a ticket sale. They're counting these giveaways as ticket sales. You're not giving somebody something nobody wants to see. You're giving a ticket to the most popular movie in America right now in theaters. You're giving tickets to a hit, a blockbuster. And I don't know what Sound of Freedom costs to make. I think they said $10 million or $3 million, and they'd be glad to garner 10, I think, something like that. But Indiana Jones, they spent $300 million just in production. Yeah, Bluebell's a good ice cream. Cosette. There's plenty of ice cream companies to go to. And hopefully with this success of Sound of Freedom and a lot of people realizing that wholesome movies or dramas that are realistic and germane to the human condition can make a lot of money. We'll be seeing a lot of movies soon. That's right. It's in smaller theaters than Indiana Jones is in all the major theaters, and they're not getting squat for it. And people have gone in theaters and come out and said there may have been in the entire theater a half a dozen people. They can give these tickets out at Applebee's. That doesn't mean people are going to go to the movie. You know, they'll hang on to it for a while, but you know they'll end up with trash bale. They're not going. Who wants to sit around for 2.5 hours and watch a bunch of liberal garbage? Oh, Bluebell's from Texas. I have to get me. That's make me want some ice cream. I haven't had ice cream in a long time. Well, you know this is affecting them. Well, I'll tell you when Trump first got in the left's economy, how they financed this infiltration, this delusional thought patterns throughout society. What they used to do, and some of you may remember me talking about this, under the Obama administration, they would get some company in trouble violating some kind of, I don't know, labor violation or civil rights in the workplace violation or some kind of garbage like that. And they take these big companies and they say, okay, you guys are guilty of this offense, and you got to pay a fine of $50 million, say. But you got to pay the fine to one of these charitable organizations, namely BLM, or when Acorn was back in the day. They would get millions of dollars from companies the government would fine. Instead of the government collecting the money into the general fund, they would have the companies pay it straight out to these radical organizations. Trump put a stop to that. Now their money flow is getting cut off because they've co-opted a lot of businesses and they're causing the business to fail. They thought, oh boy, we're going to take off. We got Lucasfilm, we've got Star Wars, we've got all these big name things now. We're really going to start making money. And it just collapses, collapsing under the weight of their own illegality. So I've talked about that false economy, how it can't sustain itself. And let's see, I've got some other articles about that, how they're sucking wind. Here you go. They call that ESG stuff. Bud Light is now cheaper than water at some retailers after $20 billion Dylan Mulvaney disaster. Some stores report a 50% decline in sales year on year after marketing gimmick gone wrong. And that was just before 4th of July. Their 4th of July sales were a disaster. So anyway, here's another meme you guys might want to get a shot of it. Right here. Have y'all seen this yet? Ha ha ha. Yeah, if you can't even accept yourself, quit running around demanding. I didn't operate on you or pump you full of drugs and hormones. Go talk to somebody else about that. Speaking of that, well, I tell you, that's a shame about Harrison Ford. He doesn't care. I mean, he got his paycheck for doing that stuff, but iconic actor. Here's one I had. Speaking of an iconic actor, here's one I had up when I first started the live stream. You'll never see Mel give in to that. Well, they're going to care about it, Dottie, when they start losing enough money. Thank you, Henri. Welcome aboard. Gave me a thumbs up. Thank you. Hi, Rick. How you doing? Steve, how you doing? Yeah, Nikki said subscribe. Haha. Hit the notification bell so you know when we're going on. Hi, Kicking Bert. Where the bots at? Kicking Bird said, well, I think that one I kicked off of True Social last night was a bot. I saw where they had one message to somebody. They said, you don't even know what country I'm from. And I blocked, I joined a person that blocked them. And then that person joined me. And then I got about, 10 more subscribers today on True Social. Yeah, because that you got to get Nickelodeon. I mean, some that shows the old stuff. It's the only safe way to go. Watch All in the Family with Archie Bunker. Let's see. Oh man, what a sad story. Right here. They're driving themselves nuts, folks. They're driving themselves nuts. The Gateway Pundit put that out. I can't say some of the words in there. I don't know this actress. Fox Sports Live, The Mindy Project, and Marry Me, 2014. She succumbed to assisted suicide. I can't even say that word, but maybe once. From booster injuries. She went to Switzerland. I mean, what people have lost their damn minds. To talk about your own strong delusions, just like the Bible says. But as we know, that what they're doing, they got their delusions, but when they push it off on kids, there's a problem. And here we get an example of trouble ahead. And I don't think it's for us. Let me see if I got I know I got the headline. I'll see if I got the article. Hero. You had Rick Grinnell down there helping Carrie Lake. You had this disclosure that there are fake deeds and money laundering from drug trafficking cartels going to top officials in Arizona. That disclosure came out. Deeds of trust and loans that were fake recorded in the courthouse for millions of dollars, and they've traced all that. You've got all the stuff for Katie Hobbs. You've got Jack Smith down there subpoenaing people, getting evidence. They're even going after Rudy Giuliani. And other than desperately attempting to keep Trump out of office. There's no rhyme or reason for them to be doing this stuff. They're asking for it. But here, Arizona AG claims she will refuse to abide by Supreme Court ruling on religious freedom. Hey, that could very easily be seen as a rebellion. So I'll pull part of the article up here. It's a little fuzzy, but if this is it. In an act of defiance against Supreme Court's decision to protect religious liberty, she announced that her office will seek prosecution against businesses that refuse to serve those that belong to a, quote, protected class. All that stuff's got to be wiped off the books. This protected class BS, this sovereign immunity or qualified immunity, that's got to be trimmed way back. But she's just coming right out saying she's going to rebel against the Supreme Court. So let's see how that turns out. But that's a lot of stuff percolating in Arizona. I still think that when stuff starts popping off, it's going to be Arizona. Have you all heard this one here? Mexico, radioactive material reported missing near southern U.S. border. U.S. officials remain silent, while Mexican officials issued alert. Now, I know in the Eastern press that I've been reading, and also a little stuff I've been hearing out of Brazil, there's a lot of concern about the U.S. taking military action in Latin America. Big time military action. So, you know it ain't going to be Joe Biden that initiates that. But that concern comes up over and over. Now you have this business of radioactive material. And at the same time as that's going on, you've got new paramilitary group surfaces in southern Mexico. I don't know how to pronounce the name of it. You see it back there on a sign. But they run Latin America, the drug cartels. And you know they're getting their hands on heavy weapons, and why not for them not to have the capability of getting something nuclear. But anyway, a new paramilitary group surfaced in southern Mexico claiming to have taken up arms to defend against a cartel-connected paramilitary group. The rise of paramilitary groups comes at a time when Mexico's government has been unable to contain the rapid spread of cartel violence plaguing the country. They took like over a dozen police officers hostage now, not in El Salvador, where there's been a major crackdown. That's what needs to happen. That's right, Cosette. C-I is the coordinator of these cartels. Oh, Mr. T put this up from McCarthy, Speaker McCarthy. And the reason it caught my eye, Trump responded to McCarthy by saying they're all controlled by the DOJ election interference. But McCarthy said, here we go again, an outrageous abuse of power by a radical DA who lets violent criminals walk as he pursues political vengeance against President Trump. I'm directing relevant committees to immediately investigate if federal funds are being used to, here's the key word, subvert. Okay, remember I talked about subversion? People automatically go to the T word, the T word, treason, right? Well, no, subversion is going to be the biggest charge. It's going to hit the most people. But anyway, used to subvert our democracy by interfering in elections with politically motivated prosecutions. So that's the reason I pulled this one up, because, like McCarthy's going to spat off and show his umbrage and anger about a lot of things. But when he uses specific language and specific possible charges like subversion against our democracy, that's when my antennas go up. Here, what's this one? There we go. There's a good one for you to put in your quiver. I don't know, Tyne. They're after 31 classified documents. But they show these pictures of all these boxes. I mean, you can have 31 pieces of paper in a manila envelope. So, the boxes, photos, they're playing games because there's 1,850 boxes or more that Biden's got stashed away somewhere they're not talking about. No, but people are going to go down for the T word, Treason, okay? But mainly subversion, people who think they're doing what's best for their country, but they're subverting the lawful operation of the country. So I promised you all a lot of memes. Let me start popping them up because it's getting late. Here we go. I didn't pick this language, folks. And just like that. Poor George. So there's one to rally on 7-7, B-Dog says. Oh, not the good ones, Awaken Trillium or Melvita. Not the good ones. The good documents. The military's got all that stuff. And the stuff that Trump's got are copies. And like he said, if anybody's listening that hates Trump, hey, got news for you. They're copies, okay? And he's allowed to have them. The military knows he has them. And the librarian has no right to request criminal action be taken against the President of the United States. It's codified law. I really think what they're doing in Arizona and what Jack Smith is doing, there's no common sense in it. I can see them trying to get him convicted of something to keep him from running, but they're digging up bones, and I think they're doing it on purpose. And they're not digging up any bones Donald Trump's got to worry about. Mel Gibson died. Are you talking about him being arrested? Yeah, he's just baiting them in with the documents. They don't know where he's got stuff. I mean, if he's a directly appointed officer, a DAO, I've talked about that in the past, the military can directly appoint officers. You know, he can have things that an AF, alternate facility. Here's another meme for you. So Supreme Court rules that racial discrimination is unconstitutional. No! B-Dog says, wouldn't that Jack lawyer know where the BODIES are buried? Well, he probably does, but a lot of times we take into consideration that they're playing ball because they're told to. They've submitted and they're doing as they're told. I saw a campaign ad for Mr. T. I tried to record it and play it. In the background, they're playing a Phil Collins song that says, I was there and saw what you did, saw it with my own two eyes, so you can wipe off the grin. I know where you've been. And you know the rest. It's all been a pack of lies. So that's a great campaign ad if you all get to see that. And I'll try to capture it somehow and play it. But anyway, you can hear Trump in the background saying he's doing things to teach the bad people a lesson. But I can't think of exact words. But he also says the people need to learn a lesson. Okay? We need to learn a lesson. We can't ever let this stuff go where it's gotten to. And people that are unmoored spiritually, they better get moored because they're not going to be supported anymore with this funny money. And they're going to have to suffer the consequences of their lifestyle. They're not going to be accepted and get big paychecks just because they're oddballs, just because they support a communist or Marxist ideology. They got a job waiting for them. You know, then you get all these lost souls that say, "Oh, let me get my hair purple and let me defy God's word, and I'll get rewarded." That's going to stop. What's going to happen and what's going to be left is that if you go that route, society will reject your philosophy. Parents will be very angry if you bother their children, and you will be prosecuted for that type of behavior. So that's just the tip of the iceberg of the lessons that have to be learned. And I think that's why we're going through this stuff. And this idiotic notion of believing everything the media says that leads us into war and throwing billions of dollars away. Hey, you know, if they don't earn money, they don't earn an honest dollar, then they don't mind when it's wasted because they haven't got a dog in the fight. It's not their money. N- 48 in the negative, Awakened Trillium says. Well, I really give zero. I mean, I've lost subscribers when I get in going down this road, but negative 48 is a zero. Let him add that number up and see what he comes up with, because that's what he is in my book, and I don't want to have nothing to do with him. Gives you a damn headache and makes people sound like they're insane. They can't get a message to their friends and family when they get into that numerology and sorcery. And it's all garbage. Red did a video that showed where he could take a sentence and using negative 48's method, it says negative 48 is full of you know what. So, no, I didn't mean to go off on that, but I really don't like that business. Who's that? Kathy Lender said, well, you're better off not knowing, Kathy. Somebody who looks at numbers and dates and comes up with a bunch of garbage. That's who he is. He may have good intentions. I don't know. But the road to hell is paved with good intentions. That's one of the oldest sayings in the book. And what are we supporting in Ukraine? Right here. About 50,000 alphabet soldiers are fighting for Ukraine. The Telegraph. Ukraine's first openly gay soldiers hope that Ukraine will be next and recognize the military contribution of alphabet soldiers. Okay. No exact figure. Estimates are puts the figure around 50,000. Okay. Yeah. No, that's nothing I want to, not a hill I want to die on. I'll put it that way. And the majority of the world doesn't want to either. Gosh, let me see. Did anybody hear about this instance that happened? Antifa militants federally indicted over explosive attack outside Michael Knowles' event in Pittsburgh. Have any of you all heard about this? It's okay, Awaken Trillium. Please don't give yourself a headache over that stuff, honey. It's a lot of work, but it's fulfilling work to put your mental energies into that good book. I mean, I know there may be a certain number of people in the chats or watch my program that have read the whole book, but I doubt there are any, me included, that understand the whole book. So your precious time and energy, that's what you got to think about. And those numbers, I tell you, you get a headache. Everything you look at, you'll be dealing with from a position of superstition, numbers, sorcery, and you won't be grounded. Okay, I'm not talking to anybody specific. I'm just saying, as a rule, when you go down an anything goes philosophy where people can mess with your mind, no, your mind's got to be a fortress, and you got to fill that fortress up with things that are positive and good and helpful. And anyway, that's right, Nikki, the best intel. So anyway, we'll see what happens to these clowns that were federally indicted. See if somebody lets them off the hook. Because if they let them off the hook, guess what? We know who else we got to get rid of in the judiciary. What's this one now? Oh, this was on Twitter. This young lady here, Grace Ferraro. Politico, White House cocaine culprit unlikely to be found. Law enforcement official. White House cocaine culprit unlikely to be found. And Elon Musk said, any guesses? But I watched a report just before I went live where the White House is saying they've sent the bag off for DNA, fingerprints, all that stuff. But they're starting to say stuff like, it's such a small trace amount. Started off, the stuff was out in the ellipse. It's that it was outside on the White House grounds. Then the story changed to this. Then the story changed that. Then it turned out to be in a secure area that only authorized people can go into, not some heavily traveled tourist spot. So then it turned out that it wasn't a small amount that was like a topical anesthetic. It was actually cocaine, and it was in a zippered bag. Now they're getting back to, well, it's such a small amount. It would be a misdemeanor. Plus, there's such a little chance of getting any DNA and fingerprints. We're not going to really find out whose it was. But somebody pulled up the consequences for having what's called a Schedule II substance. And it's automatic 180 days in jail, which is 6 months. And Hunter is scratching around for his plea bargain, which if it was his, that would get blown right out of the water. So, yeah, they're gonna fight tooth and nail to keep anything from tying it to Hunter. And people are gonna get wise to this crap. The average person. Here you go. Here's one. Since I would talk about Ukraine. Ha ha ha. Let's see. Yeah, I'm just looking at the chats. Melvita's going to bed. Good night, Melvita. We'll see you next time around. So, let me see if I can give you all another good meme. A meme to put in your quiver. Here you go. Oh, come on. I got to get that to expand. Here we go. There we go. Trying to figure out how Biden won a record low of only 16.7% of all U.S. counties, yet supposedly won the election with the most votes in history. That's a fact. That's a fact. Ha! So, hopefully you all can get a good screenshot of that. All right, folks, it's been an hour and a little over an hour, and I appreciate y'all spending your time with me. I've been prattling on here and looking through my screens, and I got some more memes I will put up later in the week. I do have a link for Buy Me a Coffee in the description if anybody wants to help the channel out. I really appreciate everybody that's helped me out in the past. Keeps the channel going, that's for sure. And what I want to do is, let's see. I would play Laura Logan, but you guys have seen her so much, even though it's always worth listening to. So let's see. I could go out with, do I have Sleepy Joe in here? I don't know. I Oh man, I had about 6 things recorded, and the volume on all was terrible. And anyway, I'll play 2 things. I'm going to play this about how Jeffrey Epstein was caught dead to rights by this young lady here. And then I will play Nancy's wrap-up smear so people know what's going on, that maybe just coming into this business. Maybe they'll be watching my show. But anyway, folks, I appreciate y'all spending your precious time with me. Hope I didn't aggravate anybody or get anybody mad at me. But anyway, I will be seeing you soon. Y'all take care. This is Mountain Man, over and out.
Story for 3 years. I've had this interview with Virginia Roberts. We would not put it on the air. First of all, I was told, who's Jeffrey Epstein? No one knows who that is. This is a stupid story. Then the palace found out that we had her whole allegations about Prince Andrew and threatened us a million different ways. We were so afraid we wouldn't be able to interview Kate and Will that also quashed the story. She told me everything. She had pictures. She had everything. It was unbelievable what we had. Clinton, we had everything. Do I think he was killed? 100%. Yes, I do. Because he made his whole living blackmailing people who visited that island. A lot of powerful men who came into that apartment.
ABC and Robach released statements today, essentially saying that the story wasn't ready for air. She said that, and they said that as well, not fully vetted. ABC has still not run all these years later, and he's dead now.
Self-fulfilling prophecy. You demonize, and then we call it the wrap-up smear. If you want to talk politics, call it the wrap-up smear. You smear somebody with falsehoods and all the rest, and then you merchandise it. And then you write it, and they'll say, see, it's reported in the press that this, and this. So they have that validation that the press reported the smear, and then it's called the wrap-up smear. Now I'm going to merchandise the press's report on the smear that we made. And it's a tactic, and it's self-evident.